From the News Channel 5 Network, this is Medical Mondays.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Medical Monday right here on News Channel 5 Plus. I'm Casey Mason, and tonight's topic, one I could ask questions about all evening. We're talking about falling in love with your skin, emphasis on fall as our seasons are starting to change. And joining me here tonight, very special guest, is dermatologist Dr. John Binhlam. Thanks so much for being here this evening. We're excited to talk about this topic with you.
Thank you so much, Casey, for inviting me. This is a subject that I have a definite passion for, and it's a lot of fun, for sure.
We've been chit-chatting before we went live tonight about a lot of the things we're going to be talking with folks tonight, and we really have an exciting show for you. We've even brought some special items in this evening we're going to be talking about, as well as just some general information that, you know, Dr. Binhlam wants to share with us. We always, of course, want to encourage you to go ahead and call in. I'll go ahead and give you that number as we're kicking off tonight's show. Right here on the Plus, it's 615-737-PLUS. So call in. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions you may have, or comments or stories. It's free advice from an expert himself. Well, let's go ahead and kick off the show. Of course, you are here joining us, dermatologist from you're actually the founder and director of Advanced Skin and Laser Center and Reflections Skin Spa. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into the medical field, because it actually started off in a different path.
It did. Originally, I was going in the route of engineering, and I was going to become a computer engineer. But I found that part of my passion was actually being able to interact with people and trying to help people with health problems that they may have. So I started off in medicine, and then I thought I was going to become a cardiologist. Then I found my true passion in medicine, and that turned out to be dermatology.
And now, your expertise in dermatology is actually a very wide range. Tell us about some of the things that you actually, focus on in your field.
Right. I had the privilege of having had great training at Vanderbilt University, and when I had my training, I also worked not only in dermatology but also in plastic surgery. And from that experience, I had developed a wide-ranging field of interest, ranging from medical dermatology, so of course that's taking care of rashes, acne, psoriasis, but also just improving skin health. And that's the focus I like to have tonight, talking about what are the trends that are new in skin health. What are consumers interested in nowadays?
Trends indeed, and we are going to discuss a lot on that matter tonight. Trust me, we're going to dive deep into that tonight. Looking forward to it. I even have some questions myself. I'm just excited to learn more about so many advancements and just so many things to talk about. Now, I kind of want to go back to your passion for entering the field of dermatology. Not only are you interested in pursuing this and learning, constant advancements in the field, but really just pursuing treatment and helping skin disorders as well.
Yes. The field of dermatology, although it may seem like it is small, it actually encompasses so many conditions that you have to be very well-rounded in order to take care of all those problems. And as a dermatologist, we are considered to be the experts in conditions of the skin, hair, and nails. And so with that, it always plays into us trying to improve the quality of people's skin, hair, and nails as well.
All right, and now let's kind of talk too about just staying up to date with these latest trends, which we'll talk more about here coming up, and just kind of the techniques. There's so many in skincare and rejuvenation, and as you know, it's a job that continues for you to constantly keep up with these advancements. Is it something that is exciting to you as a dermatologist?
It is extremely exciting, and it's very fun. I'm glad to share with you that I actually started in dermatology at the very beginning when cosmetic procedures was just starting to gain interest. And I still remember in actually 1995, that was when Botox first was presented in the medical journals as being used to help relax wrinkles. And so I was there from the very beginning when Botox got started. I was also there at the very beginning when lasers were beginning to gain traction as a way to improve the skin. And now it's evolved into, it's not just lasers, it's energy devices, where we will also use other sources of energy, such as radio frequency energy, ultrasound energy, cold energy. So this is very different nowadays. And along with that, dermatologists as a whole, our specialty has taken the lead in terms of developing a lot of these innovations that I will try to touch on briefly tonight.
All right, well, yeah, speaking of innovations, we'll definitely just go ahead and kind of talk about this topic tonight. We, first of all, want to kick it off by talking about the trends here in the U.S. that consumers, they're interested in cosmetic medical procedures. First of all, if you're just now joining us, kind of tell folks a little bit about cosmetic medical procedures, what they are, and really how this trend is on the rise, I'm guessing?
It is. And there was a consumer survey that was done starting since 2014, and every year the consumer survey has been done nationally. And what they found was that originally in 2014, 5 out of 10 consumers were interested in cosmetic medical procedures, but by 2017 it's now 7 out of 10 consumers are interested in cosmetic medical procedures. And so some of the things that people express a dissatisfaction with were things such as unwanted fat on different parts of the body. They were also interested in improving wrinkles, lines, dark circles under the eyes, relaxing the frown, also improving their skin tone, the skin color, helping with sagging skin. So the innovations were all targeted towards how do we help people with this. And people may say, well, why are individuals interested in this? And there were 3 main reasons. Number one is that people wanted to feel better about themselves. Number 2, people do want to look more attractive, and especially people want to look as best as they can for their age, or actually even look better than their age.
What do you think has changed over the years to take that number from 5 out of 10 to now 7 out of 10?
Excellent question. And it has been the innovations that have moved these procedures toward things that are minimally invasive, with little downtime, with far less risk than surgery. So we will address tonight what I consider to be the 5 R's of facial and body rejuvenation, and I'll just briefly list them.
Yes, of course. The 5 R's. I'm excited to hear this. What could they be?
That's right. So number 1 is going to be relax. Number 2 is going to be refill. Number 3 is going to be to resurface. Number 4 is reposition. And the 5th is reshaping. You know, at Medical Mondays, I know you've been in here before to chat with us. We appreciate you joining us again for tonight's show. But, you know, we've talked about skin cancer, we talked about skin disease and different treatments and advancements in that line of dermatology. But, yeah, again, tonight is really about something that I definitely feel is, you know, a trend in our society, and that's really the 5 R's. That's what we're here to discuss tonight. This is more on the other end of the spectrum when we're talking about just honestly just wanting to feel good about yourself as we age. Do you feel like there's the constant battle of, you know, against aging, and as a dermatologist, what's kind of your standpoint on maybe some advice if you're wanting to enter into some of these procedures? Certainly, number 1, I think that as people are investigating these procedures, they want to know who are they seeing, what are their qualifications, because the results really depend upon someone's expertise. That's very important. All right. Well, Dr. Binhlam, we're going to find out more about those 5 R's coming right back after this break. Keep it right here on News Channel 5 Plus.
You know, Kevin, it's been said that one extraordinary man can do more than 10 ordinary men.
And I believe that, you know, the truth is at the Kennedy Law Firm, we have a team full of extraordinary people. Call us today, 931-645-9900.
Inside Edition is on the hunt.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Next, Inside Edition on restaurant patrol in the middle of the night.
That's disgusting.
What do they see in there that's freaking everyone out?
Oh my God, oh my God.
Then, the pool smackdown seen round the world.
What he did was very cool.
Now he's face-to-face in court with Granny. Next, Inside Edition.
Tomorrow at 4:30 on News Channel 5.
Your daughter is having trouble learning French. Do you A, hire a tutor?
Bonjour.
B, enforce a French-only rule at home? Or C, watch some foreign films? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Did you take your medicine? Oh gosh, I forgot it.
Her nurse,
Need a claim number?
her personal assistant,
Let me just grab a...
her housekeeper, her cook, her accountant. When I started taking care of Mom, I didn't realize the challenge of playing so many roles. But above all, I'm still her daughter.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving to connect with experts and other caregivers. Together we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Hi, I'm Kevin Kennedy with the Kennedy Law Firm. You know, ever since I was a small boy, they always said, if it's going to be, it's up to me. When are you going to make the decision to hire the Kennedy Law Firm? Call us today. That's 931-645-9900.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to News Channel 5 Plus. We are here with another Medical Monday. Joining us, Dr. Binhlam. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, Casey. I enjoyed this.
Now, if you're just tuning in, we, of course, are talking about falling in love with your skin tonight. We're not talking about more of the diseases or things like skin cancer or rashes or different things that folks deal with on that side of the spectrum. Instead, we're talking about more about the 5 R's, which are...
It's going to be relax, refill, resurface, reposition, and reshaping.
All right, and to see if I can memorize those by the end of the show. Pop quiz for me here. Yeah, it's really just about, falling in love with your skin on a lighter note this evening. So let's go ahead and talk about the first 2 R's during this segment. We're going to talk about relaxing and refilling, and you actually did bring in some great new exciting techniques. We're excited to have props here on the set tonight.
Okay.
So take it away, doctor. We're talking about relaxing and refilling.
Well, I'll start off with relaxing first, because we typically have heard about Botox, and Botox now has become part of the lexicon of our society. You'll hear about people getting Botoxed. And what is it? It is actually botulinum toxin, but at the same time, when used properly, we call it a neuromodulator that actually can selectively relax muscles of facial expression. The most common areas that you'll hear people using Botox for is for the upper third of the face. And the upper third of the face, we have our frown area right here, our worry lines when we raise our eyebrows, that gives you the horizontal lines. You also have the crow's feet when we smile and it really crinkles. But outside of those areas where we can relax things, there are other areas that would also benefit on the lower 2/3 of the face. So some of the unique techniques that we have that can help people, and I'll just briefly point out some of the things. Sometimes if people want to open up their eyes so that it's more of a doe type look, and it looks very friendly. We can actually put Botox around the eyes to open up the eyes more. Sometimes people have these little lines that we call wolf or bunny lines on the side of the nose, and we can inject that to relax it. When people smile, sometimes people will have what we call a gummy smile because the gums show too much, but if you inject Botox appropriately in the upper lip, you can actually help reduce that. You can also inject in order to lift up the corners of the mouth so that you don't have a downward turn that makes people can look sad. You can actually use Botox or a similar product like that to actually open up the upper lip a little bit so it gives a sense of fullness without needing to use a filler. And certainly if you have dimpling of the chin, that can be used for that. Some of the more innovative ways is for people who sometimes have a more squarish face. Well, placing injections in certain areas of the lateral cheeks can also be used to actually reshape the face and give it a more of a softer oval look. That's also very nice.
Yeah, okay, so common question I'm sure you get as a dermatologist, I'm scared to try this. I don't want to look, you know, like I have had Botox. I think that's one of the main things is you almost want it to look like you didn't have anything done. What is your advice to potential consumers and patients when they're asking you about entering into this treatment for the very first time? It can be scary when you're trying to figure this out.
One of the first things I tell my patients is that I've been doing Botox on myself since 1996.
Yes, as you said, you're 125.
That's
is
right.
that right? You
That's
look incredible.
Absolutely. And I did it on myself because I actually wanted to prevent the formation of deep lines in the frown area because I had a natural tendency to do so. But I think that looking natural is what people want to have, as opposed to having that frozen look that we all fear. And so I tell people we relax, we do not paralyze. And so we can be more judicious in terms of how much we use in order to affect that. And so you need to go to someone who is an expert, someone who has the advanced training to do it well. And I would say that as a dermatologist, I feel that our specialty is very well qualified to do that because we were the innovators of using botulinum toxin or Botox to help with this.
You know, we talked about this during the break as well. The times are changing with the advancements in Botox and filler. And as a doctor, what would you like to say as far as any sort of stigma towards receiving this type of treatment? Right.
One of the most common comments that I will get from people is that, am I being too vain by doing this? Shouldn't I just age gracefully? And I answer to that is that, well, we like to present ourselves to the public in the best way we can. That's the reason why we may get our hair done. That's why we may groom ourselves by, if someone has facial hair with a mustache or beard, they groom their facial hair. That's why we brush our teeth.
Getting braces, I was going to say a good example is it any different than, you know, getting braces straightened on your teeth, you know, so.
No, it isn't. And it's, as I said in the previous segment, the number one reason why consumers want to get these cosmetic medical procedures is so that they can feel better about themselves. So it's more about how we want to feel about ourselves, and we want to present ourselves in the best possible way to the world.
And again, for maybe folks that are just now tuning in, go ahead and tell those 3 reasons, the main reasons that, you know, folks are now receiving cosmetic medical procedures, as we're calling them.
Well, the number one reason was that people did want to feel better about themselves. And so if you get procedures done that make you look better, you will feel better about yourself when you look in the mirror, and you have more confidence. Number 2 is that people do want to look more attractive. We want to present ourselves in the best possible way. Why wouldn't we?
Why not?
That's right. And thirdly is that we are living longer now. As a nation, our citizens, Americans, are living longer. So as we're living longer, we're also staying more healthy physically. So we want to also look as best as we can for our age, or even better. because if we feel younger on the inside, why should we not try to also still look young on the outside?
Well said. Now we do have a caller. This is Brian on line 1. Good evening, Brian.
Hey, good evening.
Nice to have you on. And what's the question you have this evening for Dr. Binhlam?
Yeah, I told the lady, I said, I don't know, guys, if you call on the show, but I'm 52 and my skin's in pretty good shape. I'm like sort of half French, half Irish, half Algerian descent. My skin's not really pale, even though I'm Irish. I may be known to have blotches, but I don't have any wrinkles. I'm 52. And
that's wonderful,
I used to tan a lot when I was younger, I told her, but not for the last, like, 10, 15 years. But, you know, if you're out, you know, you'll get sun. And I use alpha hydroxy and lotion I always have. And she asked me the name brand, and, you know, I don't know if I can tell you that. It's sort of an orange blossom special out of Miami, Cocoa Beach, Florida. It's my lady. And then I also get a regular one. I just put on after I'm shaving, and I'm just starting to get some wrinkles, but I seem not to have any. So I don't know if it's, you know.
Brian, you're a very fortunate man.
Yes.
You have very good genetics.
Share
that
your
is
secrets
fantastic.
with us.
And not everyone will have your great genetics where simple skincare regimen will be enough. And so this is why we're talking about cosmetic medical procedures tonight, because skincare products alone will not be sufficient for a good number of people.
Yeah, you know, Brian, thank you so much for calling in. We do appreciate our calls, and again, encouraging you to call in tonight. That's a great story, and I want to ask, kind of stemming off of what Brian just called in to say, is how much do our genes and genetics play a role in our skin, and how much can be done to, you know, let's say you have in, you know, your family deep set wrinkles that is genetic, and what can we do to maybe prevent that from happening?
Right. So one of the major factors that leads to premature aging is actually photo damage. And if someone is more fair skinned, it's more easy for them to get sun damaged skin at a younger age. If you enjoy the outdoors, you want to be outside a lot, that's where we see premature aging come on. And certainly other things such as how well do we take care of our body with our nutrition? Do we partake of things that may affect our skin, such as smoking, alcohol, and the like? So our skin, it's the only skin that we have, so we want to take care of it as possible. But certainly genetically, if people have more fair skin, they can get sun damage more easily, and that manifests as premature aging.
It's always the sun is always the culprit. Now, you once said, too, that, you know, there's no such thing as a safe tan in my, oh my. Is that true? Now, I believe we have, is it Patricia here on line 1? Good evening, Patricia.
Hi.
Hi there. So what's your question for us tonight? Thank you so much for calling in.
Well, I have a question regarding Botox. I was interested in getting Botox because of the frown lines on my forehead, right between my eyes and my eyebrows. And I was told by several different professionals conflicting things. One person told me that because I have had a reaction to a flu shot and I had Guillain-Barré syndrome, that I could not have Botox at all because it could cause serious damage. Other professionals have told me that there's no risk at all, you know, outside of just general risk of Botox. And so I'm still toying around with the idea, but I would like to get Dr. Binham's opinion about this.
Yeah, great question, and thank you so much for calling in.
Patricia, that is an excellent question, and I definitely appreciate your concern. And as a medical professional, I will tell you that in order to better assess you as an individual, we would need to really delve more into your medical history to give the most correct answer. However, in general, Botox or botulinum toxin should be very safe for the vast majority of individuals. So I think that's something that you may want to bring up again with whoever you choose to see to really review your medical history, I think, again, before making that final determination.
All right, great. We appreciate those calls from you all tonight and appreciate you tuning in here to News Channel 5 Plus. You're joining us for Medical Monday, getting lots of great advice from Dr. Binhlam. And coming up after this quick break, stay with us because we're going to have a really interesting demonstration the doctor's going to do for us tonight. So keep it right here. We'll be right back.
This is a Storm 5 HD weather update. Sign up for Weather Call at newschannel5.com.
A muggy day for most of us across Middle Tennessee and Kentucky, while Nate has thankfully pulled out of the area. In its wake, lots of moisture and warmer than average temperatures remaining the theme. Now, overnight tonight, our next system already moves in. It's a cold front that will swing in out of the northwest. It's not that cold, though, so it really won't bring a dramatic return to fall, but it will usher in some drier, slightly more comfortable air. Here's a look at temperatures across the southeast. You can see how that front is making a bit of a dent, especially for areas to the north and northwest that have thicker cloud cover and have rain. That is our future once that front gets here. So here's a look at current conditions. Overnight tonight will drop down to just 70 degrees, and despite the front tomorrow, temperatures will still touch 80 for your top temperature. Now expect scattered showers and storms both in the morning, afternoon, and evening. They'll be most widespread, though, later in the afternoon and evening as the front comes through.
At Cigna Health Spring, we have one priority, you. So when you're looking for the right Medicare Advantage plan, we partner with you every step of the way. Cigna Health Spring Plus You means our plans are designed around you with an approach to healthcare led by your doctor. Call Cigna Health Spring now to learn about your options and get a free guide. There's no obligation. Cigna Health Spring puts you first with plans that offer no monthly premiums, no primary doctor copays, prescription drug coverage, even dental and vision services. With a Medicare Advantage plan from Cigna Health Spring, you'll enjoy one more advantage, a focus on preventive care designed to help you stay healthy. Medicare open enrollment is here. Choose a partner that puts you first. Cigna Health Spring. Call 1-855-707-7179. That's 1-855-707-7179. Cigna Health Spring. Together all the way.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on News Channel 5 Plus for another Medical Monday. Tonight's topic, falling in love with your skin, staying young, looking, and feeling good about yourself, right? So we had a lot of calls in this evening.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you tuning in tonight because we actually, as I told you before we went to break, we did have a very kind of, I think the first demonstration I've had on a Medical Monday here. So I'm excited that you brought this in. Explain to folks what we're about to see.
Yes. So when people come and they're interested in getting fillers for, actually the second R is refill, a lot of times people don't fully understand what is involved with that in terms of how much product we need to use in order to get the appropriate amount of filling. And there are a lot of choices now that we have for fillers. And
we're looking at some of them there that you brought tonight. And
what I brought are the following. The most common type of fillers are what's called hyaluronic acid fillers. And people probably have heard of Juvederm and Restylane. But even among that name, there are different types of Restylane products and different type of Juvederm products that have different uses depending upon where we want to use it. And these are what we call static fillers, meaning that once you put it in, what you see is pretty much what you get. This is very different from two other types of fillers that I brought here. One is called Sculptra and the other one's called Bellafill. And Sculptra and Bellafill are what we consider to be actually dynamic fillers, okay? And they're considered to be biostimulatory. And so what that means is that when we use these products, the body's response to these fillers is that it will induce a cascade of building new collagen. So you get a added benefit. It's like a multiplier effect over time.
Wow.
And what's also interesting about those fillers is that those fillers actually can last between 2 to 5 years now.
Wow, that's a really long time compared to what most people assume.
It is, and one of the things that is very good, and we always care about the safety of doing any of these procedures is that with Bellafill, they actually presented to the FDA 5 years of data that supported the safety in their use as well as their effectiveness. So it's very good.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and show us what you were going to do tonight. Now, this is a typical, what you call CC.
Right. So when people come in and they ask for a filler, pretty much all the filler companies in general will have their products in these syringes that we call 1 milliliter or 1 cc of product. And what I have in here right now is just water. But I want to demonstrate to people that in that 1 cc, if I were to put it into a tablespoon, and if you think of this as being a filler, and I hope our viewers can see this, this is about as much product that we get for filling. And so what people will recognize when they look at this is that actually it only is roughly about 1/4 of a tablespoon. So when people come in, that's right. And so when people say, well, I want to get 1 syringe and I want to get all these areas on my face treated to fill things out, it's not possible. And so that's one of the things that in our consultations with people, we try to explain realistically what is available, what we can do, so that the more realistic patients and consumers have about what a filler can do, the better they'll be happy with the results.
Yeah, so again, I mean, it does not even completely fill up the spoon. It's really not a lot. What is the fear of using too much? Why would they be concerned why do most folks ask for just the 1 syringe?
Right. Unfortunately, what we see are images in the media, such as magazines and on TV, where people in Hollywood have just had too much done. And so when you have too much done, it's not natural. It really is not attractive. And what we're looking for is to make people look better, more attractive in a natural way. Now with fillers, the capability of what we can do nowadays is fantastic. Most of the fillers are going to last roughly about 6 months to a year. But like I said before, there are now fillers that will last more than a year, and in particular with one product, Bellafill, it can last up to 5 years. And what we can do with fillers is not just to fill out things. We can also use it to also shape the face.
Okay, I was going to ask, I'm a little confused on how you know what parts of the face involve Botox versus what involves filler.
Yeah, so I'd like to go back a little bit about the science of things. Is that what we know from the aging process is that it's not an issue of only the skin aging, it's also an issue of the fact that as we age, we lose volume in our bone structure. We also lose volume in terms of our muscles, and these are supporting structures that give us the definition that we have when we're younger. And so as we age, we have to factor those things in, so we can use fillers and to correct some of the things that happens with aging. So for example, some of the volume loss that will give people dark circles under their eyes, we now have fillers that we can place there. And again, this should be done by someone who has expertise in doing this, is that we can do it in a way that makes it look very natural, that lessens the dark circles under their eyes, and they look less tired. And the new paradigm shift with fillers is that we're not trying to trace individual little wrinkles. We're trying to restore natural volume. So we won't necessarily say, oh, we're just going to put a filler along this line that you have here or that line you have here. If we reinflate our face to the proper volume it was when we were younger, it will look natural and the wrinkles get less. And I make the analogy, it's the difference between a grape versus a raisin.
Okay.
And the raisins, like the aging face.
I would rather be a grape.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and it sounds wonderful. The almost question is why not? If we want to look younger and look better, and I think that's a majority of us as we age, and I'm sure there's folks who they don't mind, but about 90% of the population, I would say, does mind. And so what's someone that wouldn't want this done or qualify?
So one of the reasons why sometimes people also fear fillers is that they're afraid, oh, what if I don't like it? What if it doesn't look natural in me? And the good news is that nowadays, especially with the hyaluronic acid fillers like the Restylane and the Juvederm family of fillers, these are sugar particles that can be dissolved very easily by injecting a medicine that just dissolves them and they go away.
Wow, so it's basically undoing, and it's that simple. If you're not happy with it, that is a major question. You get something done, and what do I do if I'm not happy with it? And there is now a solution for that.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Exactly. And because these fillers can be used to restore volume, it doesn't mean that people have to feel that everything has to all be done in one session. It can be done in gradual phases so that as you restore volume, it's a natural progression. So there's no concern that all of a sudden I'll look so different to my family and friends.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on now. We've been talking about those R's. Again, those are R's about facial and body rejuvenation. The 5 R's, they're based upon, you know, facial and body rejuvenation. We've already talked about 2 of them. What is the next one?
The third is going to be resurfacing. So as we age, aside from getting the wrinkles, we start to get splotches. And I think Brian was talking about that on the phone call earlier, is that we get brown spots, we get broken capillaries, we may get enlarged pores. The quality of our skin may change where it doesn't look as radiant and bright as it was when we were younger. And for women, the makeup, when it is applied, it doesn't feel as though it's as smooth as it was before. So with resurfacing, we now have devices that we can use in order to improve those qualities of the skin that we don't like, ranging from wrinkles to brown spots to red spots to also enlarged pores. And certainly helping with acne scars and other types of scars. In my practice, pretty much every device that I have, I've used on myself. I've also used fillers on myself because I feel that the best way for me to guide my patients is by telling them my own personal experience with trying these things out. And I've done, I don't mind telling the world that I've done resurfacing on my face now about 4 times with a device called Fraxel Dual. It's what is called a fractionated resurfacing. And what the consumer wants to know, the word fractionated basically means that parts of the skin gets basically treated or vaporized, whereas other areas of the skin does not. So when you do that, you actually get quicker healing time, also far less, that means far less downtime, and the degree of discomfort is also going to be less because it's not a full-bore resurfacing like was done in the past with a traditional CO2 laser. And that also means risk of side effects are also less, actually. And so there are different devices that are used for that, and we use different energy systems. So I mentioned lasers, but also you can use radio frequency energy to achieve that kind of improvement. You can also use intense pulse light to, in a way, resurface the skin to improve red and brown. So there's a whole number of things that can be done. And again, it really depends upon consumers talking with someone who is well trained and has the expertise to guide them through all these different choices, because it does get to be bewildering.
And we were joking earlier, unfortunately, we could not bring in the lasers tonight. That's something we probably shouldn't do here on Medical Monday. But we were able to bring in, you know, some of the just different treatments that are out there, and a great example that you brought in for us tonight. I appreciate you doing that, because it really does give folks a better understanding of what exactly is going on inside when you're kind of maybe a little bit intimidated by the process. And I do love that you do talk about, hey, I've done this myself, and who better to advocate for the fact that I know what I'm doing when you've actually, you know, done these own procedures. That's incredible to share. I think it's important to. We also like to talk about the comfort of the patients. They're at your practice. You all definitely put that at the very front end of your treatment. And I do want to talk next, after we get done with a quick break here again, about walk me through. I'm here. It's my very first consultation. What folks can expect, and we'll have that answer for you coming right up. Keep it right here on The Plus. We'll be right back.
This week on Fishin' Affliction TV.
Big dog, that's a... Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
Join the big dog and Dan the man for some summertime slamming on Old Hickory Lake.
I can't even get you both in the camera. I ain't kidding you. You gotta step back just a little bit. Oh my, big dog.
Your Fishin' Affliction TV weekend begins Saturdays at 5 p.m. right here on News Channel 5 Plus, your home for
Fishin' Affliction.
Whether a house is new or whether a house is 20 years old, we can go in and we can find debris in the lines. Mr. B's is about doing duct cleaning the best that we can do it, and better than anybody else in the industry. That's what I personally stand behind and guarantee. We never make a claim that we're going to help your health. That's just something we don't do. But again, I personally believe that if I put you in a cleaner environment, it's got to have a positive impact on you. And we literally cut a hole into the main trunk line. That's the main artery, just like a tree trunk. And we attach a HEPA vacuum system to it.
All right.
When we do that and turn it on, it causes a negative airflow. As that machine's sucking everything backwards, we go to each line and we'll brush it, and then we air sweep it down to the trunk line. So we've taken everything back to that negative airflow. So again, whether it's upstairs or downstairs, you saw that everything is being brushed and air swept to the trunk line, not bringing it back into your breathing atmosphere. What makes my home need an air duct cleaning? You have to make that decision. It's your environment. And so if you have black lines at the edge of your carpets, or you have any sort of dust, excess dust in your home that you're dealing with, and that's a problem for you, then you definitely would want your air ducts cleaned. But most people understand, too, that if they'll just look down the return, take the filter out a little bit and look down the return, they'll see all the dust that they're breathing on an everyday basis. The way we do the cleaning, most residential homes will be good for 5 to 7 years. We do recommend that you have your system serviced by a licensed contractor and also use a good filter. We've been doing this for over 17 years now. We take pride in the fact that we have an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau. Also the fact that we don't believe that anybody's going to out-clean us. And as I've said before, people can outprice me, but they're not going to out-clean me. There's only one way, and that's the right way, and that's what we do at Mr. B's Air Duct Cleaning.
Let's do this.
Pickler and Ben turn the fun upside down.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a good time.
Having so much fun.
When top chef and culinary genius Richard Blaze gets cooking.
Is it blazing?
I like what you did there.
Then designer Meg Caswell's knocking down doors and solving your design problems.
Come on in.
Plus, throw the best gender reveal party for your family. Everyone's eager to know.
What would you like,
boy or girl?
We're having a girl.
Tomorrow morning at 9 on News Channel 5.
With the Advanced Skin and Laser Center here joining us tonight, Dr. Binhlam, we have had a great chat this evening about falling in love with your skin again, emphasis on fall.
That's right.
I do want to briefly chat about this event coming up. We're going to talk about this. It's the Fall in Love with Your Skin again. It's the Autumn Cosmetic Fair, and that's going to be coming up October 19th.
The 19th.
Wonderful.
Between 3 and 6 p.m. And we're inviting our customers, our patients and their friends and family to come and learn more about what is available out there to help the skin.
I think maybe the main reason folks should come check this out, in your opinion, what would they really benefit from attending this?
Yeah, so What we'll have there, and it's a very fun event because we'll hand out prizes. People will actually get to talk with our staff, with me, my physician assistants, and also talk with the different vendors about the different things that we offer that is available in the realm of cosmetic medical treatments and procedures. And I will be there to serve also to tie in all these different things that people may want to do or are interested in.
It's more or less a consultation in a way. With I heard there, you know, food and wine, bring friends, kind of make a night out of it. It's a lot of fun. So folks, be sure to check that out. Now, before we went to break, I did mention that I kind of wanted you to walk me through a typical what folks can expect when they're going through a consultation. You're nervous. You've never, you know, maybe thought about doing this type of cosmetic procedure, medical procedures before, but you're finally showing some interest. Walk me through what would take place.
Right. So, Casey, when people come into the office for a cosmetic consultation, certainly like with any medical practice, we would review their medical history, their allergies, their medications, so procedures that they've done before in the past, if they've had any problems with any procedures, how did their skin heal from injuries or from procedures. So we want to know all those factors. Do they smoke? Do they drink? Because all that can also affect the results of things that we do for them. But once we get through all that, one of the most important things is that I like to give people a mirror, and sometimes this is the part that may people get uncomfortable with, is that I give them a mirror and I ask them to look in the mirror and tell me, when you look at yourself in the mirror, what is it that really bothers you? And tell me about it. And I encourage people, if they have pictures of how they look, maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, let's look and see what the process of aging and photo damage has done, and we will then map out a treatment plan to try to bring people back, to roll back the years so that they will look better.
That's incredible. What, just out of curiosity, what would be maybe the most common answer you receive from folks about what they're most unhappy? Is there, or is it a broad spectrum?
While there is a broad spectrum, the consumer survey that was done nationally showed that what people were generally dissatisfied with about themselves involve wrinkles, involve dark circles, it involve skin discoloration, whether they have pigmentary conditions such as melasma, or sometimes it's called the mask of pregnancy, where women can get dark brown splotches on their cheeks, upper lip, forehead.
Due to hormone
Due to
changes.
hormones and other things. Also, unwanted fat. They don't like to see certain areas such as a little jowling, or underneath the chin, get that little roll underneath here. Or sometimes they feel as though they frown too much, that there's so those are the things that we would address. And then also people start talking about, well, things are starting to sag. What can we do about it? Because one of the big fears that people have is, I don't want to go under the knife. I don't want to have surgery. So what can you do to help me, short of me going to surgery?
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. We still have our 2 R's left. We've been covering them all night tonight. I think it's kind of a fun way of looking at this. And we have repositioning next that you wanted to discuss, and then we're also going to go ahead and touch base on reshaping as well as we end tonight.
Right. So with repositioning, there are different. Everyone has a little bit of asymmetry to their face. And so some of the repositioning could be small things, such as, for example, sometimes the nose starts to droop. So what can we do to reposition the nose so it doesn't droop? Or people may have a little bend along the nose, and so they want to smooth that out. So rather than going to surgery, now we can actually use fillers to help correct that. Also, in terms of repositioning, we can use fillers in order to give what we call a quote-unquote lift, because it re-inflate the face in a natural way. Then things don't look as descended, they look positioned more upwards. And then we're not trying to erase every wrinkle that people have, because it's natural to have like smile lines and the like, but we want to soften it so it doesn't look deep. We don't want to have things that kind of sag too much, because that also makes us look sad. So we can reposition things. And one of the latest innovations I think is really unique is the use of actually absorbable sutures that when you place it into the skin, you can then actually, following the vectors of movement of the face, you can use it to reposition the face and bring things back up.
So a non-surgical facelift in a way.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
okay.
it is, in a way. It's repositioning things. So it looks very natural. I will certainly say that, you know, if people have really saggy skin, they do need to have a facelift. But if we catch people earlier on when things are just starting to descend or sag, we can do things now to reposition.
It's incredible, the advancements, and you know, through the years, how are you able to just stay up to date on all of this? And it is exciting to know that we just keep finding more ways and more ways to make this less invasive, more comfortable, and as you said, natural.
Right. So it is a lot, but at the same time, because I started from the very beginning, when things started to develop back in the 90s, I've always stayed on top of things, and I've been blessed to have colleagues who share information with me, and I share information with them. So we learn from each other, and certainly it's very important that we always stay up to date with what I call continuing medical education events, so that we see what's out there and we learn from our colleagues, not only in the United States, but actually internationally.
And real quick, you mentioned earlier in the show talking about, you know, getting treatment from a professional versus the other option. How does someone know what to look for? Obviously, a dermatologist, great example of who to go see, but what are some things to watch out for and just be a little careful of?
Right. So when people go to a medi-spa or to an office, you really want to ask very carefully what is the credentials of that individual that may be doing a procedure on them. And when you ask about the credentials and people say that they're board certified, it's very important to ask, well, what are you board certified in? Because it's one thing to say that someone is board certified in dermatology, plastic surgery, but if that's not their core competency in terms of training and experience, they may not be the right person for you. And I think that comes back to just asking and seeing the results of what they've done, and then making sure you feel comfortable with who you're talking with.
Great. And again, just a reminder, the fall in love with your skin. Again, I love that phrase. Now, I may have asked this already. Is this the first year for this, or is this something you do annually?
This is something we do annually, and we actually also have a spring event and we have a fall event, because each year there's always new innovations, and we want to keep our patients and our customers, clients, all up to date about what's out there. And I try to curate all these services and products in a way so that we're delivering products and services that actually have a benefit for them.
Yeah, like some of the similar treatments that you actually brought in this evening, which I'm so glad you did. That kind of gives folks a chance to really get a visual idea of what to expect. And I love that you were able to walk us through what a consultation would be like, because again, I think you know, just kind of clearing the air of the stigmas or any questions. We've come a long way in advancements, and I'm really happy we were able to touch base on a lot of those this evening. So we're going to go ahead and take another quick break. Keep it right here. We'll be right back with more Medical Monday.
This is a Storm 5 HD weather update. Sign up for weather call at newschannel5.com.
A muggy day for most of us across Middle Tennessee and Kentucky, while Nate has thankfully pulled out of the area. In its wake, lots of moisture and warmer than average temperatures remaining the theme. Now, overnight tonight, our next system already moves in. It's a cold front that will swing in out of the northwest. It's not that cold, though, so it really won't bring a dramatic return to fall, but it will usher in some drier, slightly more comfortable air. Here's a look at temperatures across the southeast. You can see how that front is making a bit of a dent, especially for areas to the north and northwest that have thicker cloud cover and have rain. That is our future once that front gets here. So here's a look at current conditions. Overnight tonight will drop down to just 70 degrees. And despite the front tomorrow, temperatures will still touch 80 for your top temperature. Now expect scattered showers and storms both in the morning, afternoon, and evening. They'll be most widespread, though, later in the afternoon and evening as the front comes through.
Hi, I'm Kevin Kennedy with the Kennedy Law Firm. You know, ever since I was a small boy, they always said, if it's going to be, it's up to me. When are you going to make the decision to hire the Kennedy Law Firm? Call us today. That's 931-645-9900.
It's fall, and you know what that means. Pumpkin everything. We're jumping on the bandwagon Tuesday on Talk of the Town with a savory recipe that's a fun new dinner idea. We're making a pumpkin pasta dish. Then, if you don't want to eat them, paint them. These metallic fairy tale pumpkins are an easy DIY project from the handmade home, way better than the plain old orange pumpkin. Plus, it won the Tony Award for Best Musical. Now the Broadway smash Fun Home comes to Nashville. Meet the star and win tickets Tuesday at 11 on Talk of the Town.
Gaping hole. Hi, I'm Kevin Kennedy with the Kennedy Law Firm. You know, a wise man once said, when you need to get something done, do it now. At the Kennedy Law Firm, we agree with that. If you're confronted with a divorce or a bankruptcy or a car wreck or a criminal charge, call us today.
Well, welcome back to Medical Monday. As we end tonight, I want to give you all some information. They're Advanced Health. Check out that full screen there on your TV. You can go ahead and reach out to them via email. The address is right there, as well as the Advanced Health referral line. And of course, I want to end tonight with your information as well. Dr. Binhlam, tell folks how they can reach you at your office and maybe learn some things tonight, and now they're interested in going ahead and contacting you.
Absolutely. And if people would like to attend our cosmetic event next week for our fall cosmetic fair, our office is in Brentwood at 1649 Westgate Circle in Brentwood, and our number is 615-843-SKIN.
Skin, wonderful.
Yes, it is.
Makes sense.
That's right.
And as we leave tonight, got a final minute left here. Just want to ask you your final little bit of advice you want to leave with folks.
So I would like people to know that there's a lot of things that can be done now for their skin. Certainly the foundation of taking care of the skin is always going to be your sun protection, also using good skincare products. But above and beyond that, there are many services, and I'm talking about cosmetic medical procedures that can be done with little to no downtime and with little risk for them.
All right, wonderful. Well, there you have it. The dermatologist says it himself. Follow those rules. And of course, Dr. Binhlam, we want to thank you so much for joining us here on Medical Monday. It's been a real pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, Casey. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll see you next Monday. Keep it right here on News Channel 5 Plus.
There's no single answer to securing your financial future. You need to look at it from every side. Get dependable advice you can count on every week.